Hi there, I welcome you to day 19, and the topic for today is reflexive pronouns. So, what are reflexive pronouns? The words that are used to show emphasis. If you want to say, if you did something, then you will say, I myself, I cooked today. Okay, so I cooked myself. Okay, so something like that. So, where you want to show more emphasis, that's when you use reflexive pronouns. So I'm going to go ahead and give you detailed information as to where you can use, how you can use, what are your options, and then you can start memorizing it if you're learning this for the first time. For those of you who already know how to use it, just learn how you can frequently use it in your day-to-day life expression so that you will be known as an intermediate or an upper intermediate speaker. Let's get started. So the first side here, if you see here, the pronoun personal is also called the subject. Okay, so I, you, he, she, it, we, they are all called pronoun personals. Another name, another synonym is also called, they call as subjects. Okay, now these particular group of words, when you want to show emphasis, you will use the reflexive pronoun, which is for I, you will say myself. For example, I cooked myself, okay, which means you yourself. You cut it, you cleaned it, you washed it, and you cooked it. Okay. If you say you played yourself, you played by yourself, which means he himself, he played all alone. He drew it himself, which means he took all the trouble to draw it himself. Then she danced by herself, which she's never done it before, something that you've not done before, and something that you want to be very proud of. That is when you want to give emphasis, okay, highlight, okay, that's what I would like to say. And when you want to highlight, you will use these pronouns. Now if you say it, let's say the cat dragged something, so you will say it dragged it by itself. Okay, so the cat dragged something by itself, right? So that's where you use itself. We washed it ourselves. Okay, so who did it? We did it ourselves. No one else did it for us. We did it. They're taking, pride in what they did. They're trying to highlight and show what they have done, right? So they came. How did they come? How did they come? They came by themselves. Okay, no one picked them up. They came by themselves. So now that you know when and how to use reflexive pronouns, let's take a look at a few examples so that you will know where and better how to use the language. Now, for example, I cut myself. I think I've given you a number of examples. Let's get started. Now, example number one: I don't want you to pay for me. I pay for myself. Note, you will not say I pay for me. That is bad English. Okay, so that's grammatically wrong, and you will say I'll pay for myself. All right, let's take a look at the second example. Amy is on a great holiday. Okay, she's kind of having a blast, and she's had a great holiday, and she really enjoyed herself. Okay, so you cannot say she really enjoyed her. You will say she really enjoyed herself. Okay, which means never before this has happened, and this is the first time Amy has enjoyed her vacation, or she's enjoyed her own company. Okay, so do you talk to yourself sometimes? Someone is asking one particular person, yourself. Do you talk to yourself sometimes? And here, if you see self, SELF, is spoken to just one person, okay, singular. And if you see the next sentence, if you want more to eat, help yourself. So notice here, selves is SELVES, the plural form. And so here it's spoken to more than one person, okay? So the first, yourself, it is just one person, but yourselves down here, it is to many people. So now you need to know the spellings too. So just pay attention. It's not much. SELF singular, SELVES is plural. All right, so let's go on. The next exercise is we do not use myself after feel, relax, concentrate, meet. These are the words, okay, we will not use. Okay, we will not use reflexive pronouns. Now, if someone is saying, I feel nervous, I can't relax, that is very correct. Okay, but you can't say, I can't relax myself. That is absolutely wrong. So please learn the simple and sweet way of saying things, okay, especially reflexive pronouns. Now, you must try and concentrate, okay? You cannot say, you must try and concentrate yourself. That's wrong. This one is absolutely correct. So the reason why they've given it to you in the bracket so that you know the right way of saying it and the wrong way, so that you learn the right way. Please do not emphasize and learn the wrong way. Learn and memorize the right way of saying it. And you should say, you must try and concentrate. Why? Because they've given it to you right above. The words after, feel, relax, concentrate, meet. You will not use reflexive pronouns for these type of words. All right. The third example is, what time shall we meet? Two people are meeting, let's say, for example, and they're going to have another meeting, and they're asking, okay, so what time are we going to meet again? So you cannot say, what time shall we meet ourselves? That is absolutely wrong. You will simply say, what time shall we meet? Okay, so now that you know where and where not to use, let's move on to another set of exercise and learn the right form. We normally use wash, shave, dress without the reflexive pronoun. Okay, not just myself, I will say the reflexive pronoun. I call it TRP, reflexive pronoun. Now, for the words wash, shave, dress, let's say, for example, he got up, washed, shaved, and dressed. You will not say he got up, washed, shaved, dressed by himself. Okay, that is absolutely wrong. So that is why it's given in the bracket and it's wrong. You will just use the word directly. Okay, and you will not use reflexive pronouns here. You can also say, get dressed. Okay, that is the right way of saying. Okay, you cannot say get dressed yourself. Okay, that is wrong. Okay, so now you know where to use and how to use with these words like shave, dress, wash. Okay, now let's take a look at another example. Compare. You need to compare two words themselves and each other, how you can use it and where you can use it. Okay? Take a look at this. Kate is the name of a lady. Kate and Joe stood in front of the mirror and looked at themselves. Two people are standing in front of the mirror and looking at each other. They're not looking at each other, but they're looking at themselves in the mirror. You get what I'm saying? So that is where you use themselves. Another example is Kate looked at Joe and Joe looked at Kate. Now they looked at each other. This is where you will say each other. Okay, if I say Tim and myself, we played by ourselves. Okay, let's say ourselves. Then that is the reflexive pronoun ourselves there. Whereas here, if you say, let's take two anonymous people. Okay, Tim and John, they played by themselves. So two people are playing by themselves. Now, if I want to say the same thing, then I will say Tim and John, they played with each other. Now I'm using the word each other. So there are different ways of saying it. And now that you know how to say themselves and how to say each other, let's move on to another exercise. You can, if you have any trouble understanding it, please pause the video and listen to it all over again. If this is the first time you're learning this particular topic, then you might find challenges. You might find it very challenging to understand. But trust me, if you keep listening to it over and over again, and once you memorize the right way of saying it, you will be able to use this particular words, these phrases in your day-to-day speech. Okay, so let's go on. You can use one another and each other. Now, you cannot use both at the same time, but I'm going to show you examples as to where you can use what and how you can use it in your day-to-day speech. Okay, so the first sentence is, how long have you and Ben known each other? So in the first sentence, they're using the word each other, okay, comparing two people. The second sentence is, how long have you and Ben known one another? Now, both are grammatically correct. Both these sentences are correct. However, you can use just one word in one place. Okay. So I want you to practice it with your own sentences, with your own speech, and try and see so that you can use this, beautiful language. Let's take another example. Sue and Alice, Sue is the name of a lady. Sue and Alice don't like each other. And you can also say the same thing. Sue and Alice don't like one another. Both are grammatically correct. Okay? One more example. Do you and Sarah live near each other? And you can also say, do you and Sarah live near one another? Again, both these sentences are right. I want you to practice with your own words as to where you can use each other, where you can use one another. Remember, in one sentence, you could just use one, any one of your choice. Okay? Now, we can also use myself or yourself in another way. Let's say, for example, who repaired your bike for you? Someone is questioning you, saying, who repaired your bike for you? You will say, I repaired it myself. No one else helped me. Okay, so I repaired it myself. I repaired it, not someone else. Okay, here myself is used to emphasize. I told you emphasize means to be proud of, to highlight, to show off and say that this is the first time they've done it. They're so happy and proud that they've done it. So that's why they're emphasizing it. Emphasizing means to show more light, to stress on something. Okay? Now, some more examples are, I'm not going to do your work for you. You can do it yourself. So you're going to do it, not me. Let's take a look at another example. Okay, let's paint the house ourselves. It will be much cheaper. So here, ourselves, because we are going to do it. All right. The third one is, the film itself wasn't very good, but I love the music. So the film, since it's anonymous, it's going to be itself. All right. Paul had a great holiday. He enjoyed himself. All right. So now that you know how you can use reflexive pronouns together with the personal pronouns, let's move on and see one last example. The soup itself wasn't tasty, but I like the aroma. Aroma means smell. Okay. So now you're learning a lot of vocabulary, different sentence structures, a variety of sentences and words that you could choose to use as and when you like. Okay. Now, let's learn a little about apostrophes and S. Okay. So we use an apostrophe and an S mostly for people or animal. Okay. For example, Tom's computer isn't working. It's not that Tom isn't working, but Tom's computer isn't not working. So note, not that the computer of Tom is working. Okay. But here, actually, I think we should remove this of Tom. Kind of confuses people. I think it'd be easy if you say, Tom's computer is not working. It's not that Tom is not working. The computer, okay, is of Tom that belongs to somebody is not working. The computer that belongs to Tom is not working. When you want to say it belongs to someone, you will add an apostrophe S. The next one, how old are Chris's children? Okay, we're not worried about the children here. Okay, we're not worried about the children. Here we're worried about Chris. Okay, so how old are Chris's children? We're not worried about anyone else's children, but specifically we're worried about Chris's children. And when, as I told you earlier, when you want to say when something belongs to someone, then you would add an apostrophe S. Okay, now what's Tom's sister's name? Okay, let's take the example. What's Tom's sister's name? Here, they're worried about Tom's sister. Take a look at what's Tom's sister's name. This is very complicated, right? So that's why they've broken this up. What is the contracted form of what's, okay? So the first one is kind of twisted. The first one is the contracted form of what is, and Tom's sister. Okay, so Tom, whose sister it is? It's Tom's sister. So sisters, they belong to Tom. And sister's name. It's not just Tom, but Tom's sister's name. What is Tom's sister's name? Just inquiring. Okay, that's why Tom has an apostrophe S. sisters have an apostrophe S. Okay, because they're trying to find out about one particular sister of Tom's and they want to know what her name is. Okay, so what is Tom's sister's name, right? Now that you understood, let's move on to another sentence. Be careful, don't step on the cat's tail. Okay, so the tail, the cat belongs to the cat. And so because it belongs to the cat, they're putting an apostrophe at it and saying cat's tail. Okay, let's move on to another exercise. You can use apostrophe S without a noun after it. Okay, so it isn't my book, it's my sister's. I told you when something belongs to somebody, you would add apostrophe it. If you notice here, after sisters, they're not putting any noun. Sister's book. But they're not saying sister's book. They're just saying bluntly, it's my sister's. And that is why it has an apostrophe S. They aren't my children, they are my cousins. So the children belong to my cousins, and that's why they're not saying cousins' children, but they're just saying they are my cousins. Okay, which refers to children. However, for cousins, they're putting an apostrophe S because the children belong to my cousin. All right. Now, with a single noun, we use apostrophe S. My sister's room, as I told you earlier, if something belongs to someone, then you will add an apostrophe S. So here you will say, whose room is it? It's my sister's room. And that is why my sister has an apostrophe S. Now, Mr. Carter's house. Whose house it is? It is Mr. Carter's. And that is why Carter's apostrophe S is there. My nephew's bike. If you take a look, it's not anyone's bike. It specifically mentions, it says my nephew's bike. So that is why nephews has an apostrophe S. Now, with plural nouns like sisters, friends, okay, with plural nouns, then you will use, we put an apostrophe at the end of the word. Let's say, my sister's room. Here, if you see, my sister's, the very word, the very noun itself, it's plural. And then it's got, let's say, two of my sisters. I have two sisters and they're both in, two elder sisters and they're both in a room. Then I will say, my sister's room. Why is it my sister's room? Because two people are sharing that room. Okay, so that is why even if the noun is plural, then you will add an apostrophe after the plural noun. Okay, so here it's not apostrophe yes, but after the plural noun, they just put an apostrophe. Make a look. Okay, you need to pay attention to this. The apostrophe is not apostrophe yes, but the word, the noun is plural, and they're just adding an apostrophe there. Take a look at it. Whose house it is? It's Mr. and Mrs. Carter. So the Carter's house. Take a look. Carter's is plural, and just after the plural noun, they've added an apostrophe. Just an apostrophe. Okay? So now that you know that you can add an apostrophe after a plural noun, let's take a look. If a plural noun does not end in S, for example, men, women, children, what happens? The very word men, women, children, it talks about numbers, right? It's plural. It's not a singular word. Man is singular, men is plural. Child is singular, children is plural. So the men's changing room, if you want to say, so you will use the plural word and then put an apostrophe S. So you'll say the men's changing room. Whose room is it? It's the men's room. So apostrophe S for the plural word or the plural noun. A children's book. Okay, you will not say a children's book. You will say the children's book. Okay, you cannot say because it is plural. So you say the children's book. Whose book is this? It's the children's book. Okay, so the children's book. So the very noun is plural, and then they're adding an apostrophe S to it. All right, so let's take a look at one last exercise. You can use apostrophe S after more than one noun. So Jack and Karen's wedding. Now you can see two nouns and it's got a conjunction in between. Okay, they're saying Jack and Karen's wedding. So two people, so they're adding an apostrophe S. And you should note that there are two people here. Okay, it's not one single word which is plural noun. Now, the next one, Mr. and Mrs. Carter's house. So, Mr. and Mrs. Carter is singular, and although it's singular, they're talking about two different people, and that is why there's an apostrophe S there. Jane and Rose piano. Whose piano? The piano belongs to both Jane and Rose. And because it's two people, they've put an apostrophe S here. So now that you know how to use, apostrophe S's for singular nouns or plural nouns, let's move on to the task of the day. And today is day 19. We want you to describe a gift that you have recently given to someone. Okay, so describe a gift you recently gave to someone. A few pointers for you if you don't know what to talk about. You can say who you gave it to. You can say why you gave it, as in like what was the occasion. Okay, you can say what kind of a person he or she was to receive such a gift from you. What was the gift? Okay, so how expensive was the gift? You can also say what was the occasion you gave it for and explain why you chose that particular gift. Did you just walk into the shop and just choose a random gift that you set your eyes on? Or did you take time in selecting this gift for this special occasion and for this special person? So let us know your point of view on this given topic. Shoot us a video and post it on Facebook so that you can get your feedback. Again, start using all that you have learned so far. We want you to start making minimum 5-minute video and use all the topics, all the grammar, all the points, all the things that we've told you in your day-to-day life. Only you start practicing using your own choice of words in your own style, in your own niche, you will be able to excel by using the language. Okay. Thank you for listening to today's video. I will see you all in another video.